want everything of a relationship, but you don't want a relationship. Like, guys never get approached first by a girl. So when a girl bothers approaching first, they're so like, oh my God.
They're even more off guard.
Yeah. Catch them off guard, and you pulled. Someone messaged me saying, you can unfollow me, but you can't unsuck my dick.
What? Wow. What did you say to me, Ciara? Guys,
what did I say? Let's see if I can remember.
It's the best savage compliment I think I've ever had in my life.
I think I said, you're really nice, you're attractive, but you're overhyped.
She said I'm overhyped. Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I've got a great conversation lined up for you today. You know, on this channel, we love to talk about all things dating and relationships and seeing what we can do to attract the kind of person we want. So without further ado, please welcome Ciara to the show. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Are you impressed that I said your name right this time?
I am, well done.
I kept calling her Ciara. I don't know why. I just think Ciara like from Lion King.
It's spelled like that, to be fair. It's that
I'll take
the little
it.
Sneaky A.
I know, there's a little sneaky A, but no, Ciara. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday, last minute.
What am I meant to say now?
Oh, you don't have to say anything. You have to say, well, I'm going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
That's why we're here. So I like to jump straight in. So first tell us your age or your age range.
I'm 23.
Right. And one thing a guy should know about you if you want to take you on a date.
Oh God, I don't know. I feel like I tell everyone everything from the get-go. So
okay, like you're very much an
yeah,
open book.
I'm overly open.
Really?
I think, yeah, I'm just a professional yapper. So if there is anything they need to know about me, I think they'll know within the first 5 minutes of talking to me.
Okay,
Yeah.
what's like the most open or like maybe vulnerable thing you've shared on like the first time you met a guy?
I suppose I'm professional at talking about my illness and my disability and stuff like that. And sometimes that can be a bit of a heavy topic. Yeah. But I try and keep it light, try and keep it jokey.
I hear you. Can you tell us, what this disability is? Around
about a year ago now, it was like 11 months ago, I had my entire large intestine removed. So now I've got a stoma. Or an ostomy, like it's got two different names, stoma, ostomy. Yeah. And that's because I was ill with ulcerative colitis for about 18 months. Okay. From point of diagnosis. I was ill before that, but
Can you tell us what a stoma is and what that illness is?
Yeah. So the illness colitis or ulcerative colitis is a form of irritable bowel disease. Yeah. And it's an autoimmune disease. So my body viewed my large intestine as a virus to fight off. Just really didn't like my intestine being inside my body. Ulcers form all along your digestive tract. Lots of bleeding, lots of vomiting, lots of food poisoning type symptoms. Wow. Not fun. Lots of medication. Yeah. And then eventually my bowel perforated and had to be gone. Damn. Yeah. And now with the stoma, what it is the end of my small intestine is now on the outside of my body. And it kind of just does its thing, does its bowel movements into a little bag. Okay. Yeah.
And how has that adjustment to life been from before, after for you?
I thought it was going to be a lot rougher than it was. So I put off having surgery for like a long time. Like I kind of pushed myself to this extreme of like nearly dying because I was like so scared of having the bag. Wow, yeah. And everyone said it to me. It's like the second you get the bag, you'll realize that there was no need to do that. Yeah. You'll realize like having the bag's actually pretty chill. But I did not believe them, obviously. I thought it was just people saying that for the sake of it, for the comfort. Yeah. But being ill was a lot worse than having the bag. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah, adjusting to my new life. It's been good to like be active again and like work again, like have a social life, be able to do normal daily tasks.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, you're kind of an influencer and a model as well. Yeah. So how's that played into that side of your life?
It really kicked it off more. So while I was at university, I studied environmental sciences. I have a degree in environmental science, and now I work in environmental science and scuba diving. They go hand in hand. But so all while I was studying, I kind of did the influencer stuff on the low key, but I never really had the time to like do it properly. Yeah. And then graduation and surgery coincided with each other. So all at once, it's like suddenly I kind of picked up like disabled modeling and got a few more followers from that side of things, of people being interested in the ostomy, or like other people with ostomies following my journey. And then suddenly I had more time because I graduated. I had more time to actually like dedicate stuff to the modeling and to the stoma stuff on Instagram. Yeah. So it all just kind of picked up all at once.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I love that. Especially when kind of using something that, obviously that was something in your life that was hindering you to some degree, all of this, and then using your process and journey through that for something positive for yourself, which is like amazing. How has that played for you in your love life? Like, do you feel like it's it's like an added thing you have to talk about with anyone that you meet? Do you feel like it's quite a minor thing and it's pretty chill because you're used to it and you kind of have a normal life with it?
I think it's been a lot more minor than I expected. I thought my biggest fears going into surgery was like all the superficial side of things of like body issues, being insecure of it, how other people might take it. And like before surgery, everyone said to me, like, don't be silly, no one's going to care. Or like things like, oh, if someone does care, clearly they're not the right person. Like all these, the stuff that you expect.
Yes.
And I thought people were just saying that for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And then I had surgery and I realized like, it's actually true. Like no one cares.
Yeah.
And I kind of mention it from the get-go because the second they follow me on Instagram, they're going to see it anyway. So
yeah, I'll be honest. I think when we, because we literally met this week, right? When we connected, I didn't notice.
That's what I mean. Like I
genuinely was, I was like, oh, that's the thing. When you told me after the fact, and then I was
wearing a dress, obviously. It's like when I'm fully covered, you can't even see it.
Yeah.
And it's like today, for example, you can't really see it, but I'm wearing a crop top, so you can see it a bit.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, like it's really not that noticeable.
Yeah, but I mean, actually, even from your page, because you've got like modeling photos on there and stuff, and like I just didn't. I just didn't notice.
I recently did Miss Swimsuit UK. I won Miss Wellness UK.
Okay, congratulations. We love it.
So I recently did that, and obviously that's all bikini stuff. Like it's all very. I was like branded as their like first visibly disabled model because it's like the second you're in a bikini, it's very noticeable. It's very much like that is on my stomach. Takes up half my torso. You can't really avoid it.
Yeah.
So that is one thing where like it was all over my Instagram for ages, just like bikini photos of my stoma being visible. So it is mentioned. Like I don't really use dating profiles that much. I'm not really big on Hinge or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's still mentioned on my profiles just as a little, pre-warn. But no one seems to care.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And I mean, kind of being someone online, having people who follow you and be in this space, especially if you're modeling and stuff, like you must have guys who approach you all the time from that.
Yeah, I guess so.
How do you handle that?
I don't really handle it. I'm prone to just ignoring people.
Really? Has no one ever popped into your DMs? So you'd be like, oh, you kind of look kind of interesting. Has never done.
Yeah, and then it lasts like a week, and I just.
You say what? You only like chat for a week and then.
Yeah, I just kind of get bored of people.
Really?
I'm bad.
You just get bored of people in general.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I date. I go on dates and stuff, but I feel like I'm not really set on finding someone at the minute.
Of course.
Like I'm not really like hunting for anyone. Yeah. So I feel like unless I can see that they're really bringing something to the table, I don't really care that much about going on more dates or like.
Do you feel like you're in a space where you're just kind of looking to just have experiences with people?
Yeah, I guess.
I get that.
If something develops, I'm not going to be like, no. But I'm not specifically looking for anything.
Would you say before, the process with the stoma and everything, would you say what you looked for before is different to what you look for now?
I think kind of by accident, my typing guise has changed.
Interesting.
So... Okay. I don't want to say I was like really superficial before.
Well, be honest. Tell us how it is. What were you like before? I
had really high standards in the sense of like, I want other people to think they're attractive. I want like big gym guy. I want someone like, trophy husband.
Hey, listen.
But now I find myself going for like the softer, like caring guys. And I don't know if that's just because like, now that I am, disabled, chronically ill, I need like a little bit of extra TLC. I don't know if it just goes hand in hand if I want someone who like actually cares more. But like it's been quite beneficial actually because I find myself going for guys who are like actually good guys.
Yeah. It's so funny because I think there are so many young women who feel like they always go for the quote unquote bad boys, the quote unquote guys that, like you said, the tall, attractive guy, confident, charismatic, all that stuff. I'm not saying those qualities aren't attractive, obviously they are. But how do you think if you didn't go through this process, and obviously I'm guessing we would both agree that you're choosing guys now based on like real values as opposed to superficial things. If you didn't go through this process, how would you get to this point of choosing someone for those values without this?
I don't know. I think the 2 years that I was ill, I didn't really date at all. I was still like, again, I was on apps and I was going on like casual dates, but I like purposely wasn't really taking anyone serious.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to like focus on myself and my illness and like I didn't have that time to dedicate to someone else.
Yeah, of course.
And like just innately that meant I had a lot of like internal thinking to do. And that kind of like grew me as a person to get to this point.
Yeah.
So I think it's less so the surgery, but more so the process of having to be on my own for a bit.
Of course.
That made my type in men kind of develop into like who is suited for me. And I think regardless of whether I was ill or not, I would have had to spend that time being single for a bit to like kind of reflect on myself and work on myself. And like that would have eventually got me to that point. But it's like whether I go through that now at like what 20, 21 years old I was, or whether I go through that when I'm like in my late 20s, it would have eventually happened. But
yeah, I think for everyone's different, but I think for a lot of women that process happens a lot later.
Yeah.
It's like throughout their 20s, they date the bad boys, the successful guys, etc., who maybe don't bring the level of investment and intention, and then they get to a point where they're like, I'm just sick of that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
think
mean?
people get to a point where they're like, I need a husband.
Yeah, is what would you say? What I know you don't speak for all women, but would you say that for a lot of girls today, what they look for in a boyfriend is different than what they look for in a husband?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But I personally, I don't feel like I've really been like that since I was like a teenager.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I have no issue with being alone. So I wouldn't bother settling down with someone unless it's someone that I can like bring home to my family and like see something serious with.
Yeah.
Like I have no issue with keeping things casual. So if I'm bothering to be in a relationship with you, like I expect that to be like a long-term relationship.
100%. Do you think you're not bothered because you're not looking to settle down yet? Because you're 23, right?
23, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously this would be a very different conversation if you were 33.
Yeah. Maybe I'd be hunting more seriously.
Then you'd be like, I want a husband yesterday.
Yeah.
I hear that. What's something you'd like to talk about? Is there anything you want to bring to the conversation? Anything you want to ask about, dates today, or about guys, maybe why we do certain things?
I hate modern dating.
What do you hate about it?
I think I briefly said it to you earlier, but I think like I'm not cut out for just like casual shit. Like I'm okay with keeping things casual.
Well, you just said you're okay keeping it casual. What do you mean?
Explain it. Like I'm okay with keeping things casual, but I think sometimes you do meet someone where you're like, oh, we're vibing really well. Like this could go somewhere. And then they want to keep it casual. And it's like, now the ball's not in my court. That's what I hate about modern dating, is it seems no one wants to be serious. Yeah,
I would say for a woman, if you're going to be casual with a guy, only be casual with a guy that you don't see any potential future with.
Yeah.
Because I think it happens more often than not where if you see potential in him that you think, oh, I could be with this person long term, I kind of think it's really inevitable for you to get to a point where you want that with him.
Yeah.
And for guys, there are exceptions to every rule, but for guys in general, a lot of the time, if they're in a casual situation with a girl, that's usually not the girl who then choose seriously. Or like the only way, a lot of the time, the way for him to start seeing her as a more serious option than a casual option. You can get it. It's all right.
I know that's my ex.
Is it your ex? He knows knows that we're shooting right now.
My phone's on silent. This is so bad. He's the only person who I have notifications for.
Really?
So my phone's on silent, but I still get a buzz when he comes through.
Okay, we have to talk about that in a minute for sure. But basically, guys don't really... Once he starts seeing a girl in a casual way, it takes a lot for him to then start seeing her in a serious way. Light. And usually the best way for that to happen is that for things to end and then they don't speak or talk for a good while, to the point that when they see each other again, it's almost like they've almost been able to grow as individuals separately as opposed to still being in each other's lives. Does that make sense? But talk to me why your ex has notifications on your phone.
Thanks, that's actually embarrassing. It's kind of...
Well, you have to tell us now. Now
it's
we
more
want to know.
When we broke up, I never took it off. So when we were in a relationship...
When did you break up?
Christmas, like 2 weeks before Christmas.
So that was 5 months ago.
It's been a while.
So you leaving it is fully intentional.
I guess.
So what is it about... Why?
Oh, man. Well, when we were together, it was like he would work late nights and stuff. And I kind of just wanted the text of like, oh, I got home safe type thing.
Sure.
So it was like I'd be in bed asleep, but I just wanted a notification to know that like he'd got home from work.
Is this when you were together, you mean?
Yeah, like while we were together. Sure. That's why it was initially like it.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just didn't take it off. I think, I hate to admit it, but I know deep down, I don't want to take it off because when I take it off, that's like the end of caring type thing.
Sure.
And it's like, I don't want to accept that.
I mean, is it fair to say that you're not ready to move on?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, God.
But you're like...
I hate admitting it.
I get that.
And he's probably going to see this if I'm saying stuff like this.
He might. But I mean, like, we were talking before, like, you guys still have friendship right now.
Yeah.
And you still, like, spend time. He's trying to get into conversation.
I'm going to turn this off.
Yeah, now you have to put it on silent for us. You're gonna tell him to wait. You have to tell him to wait. But you still have a friendship with him.
Yeah.
And you still kind of spend time with him. So how is that recent, or did you literally just go from being in a relationship to then, okay, now we're just friends?
We did no contact for a bit.
Yeah.
So we broke up like 2 weeks before Christmas. Christmas was rough. Obviously like going through my little heartbreak era over the holidays was never fun. Like seeing everyone else in couples, like it's just rubbing it in your face, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
And then around New Year, he kind of started texting again, had the whole like, I miss you conversations. But we didn't really meet up. I don't know when we next met up, maybe like February, maybe. Kind of saw each other. And then we decided to go no contact because it was a matter of like, we were still very like emotionally invested. And from my point of view, I was like, if we're still emotionally invested, why does it make sense to be broken up? But he was like, I want to be broken up to focus on myself, etc., etc. And like, I have to respect that. I can't force someone to be with me, can I?
Sure.
So I was like, okay. He's the one who suggested, let's go no contact. And I agreed, like, give us some time to get over each other type thing. More so me get over it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Let's talk again when we can be just friends without anything else to it. And then he broke no contact first around like, what month are we in now? Maybe like early April, end of March, whatever.
Okay.
He broke no contact. And it was kind of like I miss talking to you, you're my best friend type thing. Feels weird not being able to talk to you. And like, I agreed. Like the weirdest part of the breakup is just not being able to be like, how's your day been?
Yeah, to have someone that you can talk to. And
the weirdest part of the breakup is like not being able to let your friend know how your day's been and like, you know, just do like casual stuff and like losing the friendship was the weirdest part.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, because I guess a relationship is friendship plus the romantic chemistry.
Yeah.
And yeah, you lose both.
Yeah.
You do essentially lose both. So then because how long were you guys together for?
Not that long, actually. Like only officially together for like 6 months.
Okay.
But it was such a weird period of my life because we met 2 days before surgery.
Wow.
So we went to uni together.
Okay.
So I say we started talking like 2 days before surgery.
Okay.
Because he like dropped me a message on Hinge actually. Dropped me a message being like, hey, I've seen on your Instagram that you're in hospital at the minute. Like, is everything okay? And then that kind of just got us chatting about all that. And
it's funny that he saw it on Instagram, but then decided to message you on Hinge. But so obviously you guys matched on Hinge.
Yeah.
That's why come on, let's be real.
So like,
he was like, okay, I need to see if she likes me first.
Yeah.
And then I can, make.
I've always said I think dating apps work really well on campus. Because it's like, it's all people you know. There's no like stranger danger. Yeah. It's all people you know. And it's just a matter of being like, oh, I didn't know you were into me. I didn't know you saw me like that. Yeah.
But then why can't we just be like, hey, I like you?
Just tell me.
Like, I know. We're all too shy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he messaged you on Hinge.
Messaged me on Hinge, checking in with me in hospital. And I was like, well, actually, I've got 48 hours to live.
Yeah, wow.
And then, I had major surgeries, survived, woohoo.
Yeah.
And then we were just like inseparable since. And it was around about time of graduation. So we still had our uni houses and stuff. And we were just always like crashing at each other's houses, spending like a week together at a time. So although it was only a short relationship, it was like quite intense. And it was at a time in my life where I was going through like a massive transition.
Yeah.
So,
of course.
I think I was like emotionally, I don't know, more like open to being in a relationship. I was in the mood for caring and loving and all that stuff.
When he messaged you, how much was the, the version of you looking for more of the like surface level things? How much was that playing into it?
I can't say I was looking for anything like too serious, mainly because everything I was going through was so overwhelming. Yeah,
of course.
But then it was almost like comforting to know that like, oh, I'm going through all of this, but someone is still willing to go through it with me. So like I think my biggest fear before surgery was like, how am I going to date? Like I genuinely thought I was going to be like unattractive, unlovable. Like I thought everyone was going to
I love how like your life is at risk, but you're like, how am I going to date?
I'm not saying my entire life revolves around it, but it was
of course.
The only fear I had was that, to be honest, was the superficial side of things of like, what if people hate my new body? So to have someone instantly be like, I don't care. That was kind of like a comfort for me. Like it helped me a lot through surgery.
Or maybe like, he was like, oh, but he just is still, is still attracted to you and drawn to you.
Maybe my personality just actually matters. Who would have thought?
Maybe it does. Is there, so kind of, since things had ended, but you guys have kind of been friends to some degree. Like, are you open to dating other people? Is he open to dating other people? How are you handling that?
I know from what he's told me that he's not really dating at the minute, just because I know that he's on Hinge, but he doesn't care about finding anyone or anything at the minute. Like, he's not in a place in his life where
Do you think
he
you're
wants.
sleeping with other people?
I don't think so.
You don't?
He told me that he slept with one other person.
When did he tell you?
The day that we decided to go no contact. So that was like,
I
don't know, like it was a few months ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, so like maybe like a month after you broke up, or
like 2 months after?
2 months after you broke up.
Maybe around like February, maybe. I can't remember the exact timeline.
Okay.
But he told me that he slept with someone else and it made me feel like shit. I threw up in the toilets.
No way.
So embarrassing.
Are you sure that wasn't from the stoma? That was definitely from...
Oh, no, yeah. It was definitely just like a pure, oh my God. But at the same time, I was like comfortable with the fact that he felt like he could tell me that. Like, it made me trust him more in the sense of like, when he tells me he's not seeing anyone else, I like genuinely believe him.
Yeah.
Like, I know that if he did start seeing someone else, he would tell me.
I get that.
Yeah. So like, it sucked to hear it, but at the same time, like, at least I know that he's been legit when he says he's actually not talking to anyone else.
Yeah, of course. I think one thing, I'm not saying he's doing this, but sometimes guys can do, is we see sleeping with someone and seeing someone as two different things. Yeah. So if I'm sleeping with someone, but I'm not going on dates with them, I'm not introducing them to my friends and family, like we're not actually dating, I would class that as I'm not sleeping with this person. I'm not seeing this person. But that doesn't mean I'm not sleeping with them. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it completely makes sense.
So I'm not saying he's saying that, but if he's like, oh yeah, I'm not dating anyone, that doesn't mean he's not active necessarily.
The thing is, I do think that if he were to get with someone, he would tell me. Like,
fair. And you guys have that level of relationship. What about you? What about on your end?
I've been doing my thing.
Okay. She out here.
I don't know. I've been doing like casual whatevers here and there. Been going on dates and stuff. Huh?
Have you told him?
Yeah, I made a TikTok. I didn't expect him to see it.
Okay, what did you do?
Bad. I can't believe I'm actually saying this on camera. Someone messaged me saying, you can unfollow me, but you can't unsuck my dick.
What? Wow. Wait, and this was someone who you had done this to him?
Yeah, no, this is someone...
And he had the confidence to post that?
No, I posted it. I thought it was like a hilarious message. So I posted it on TikTok.
Wait, so you posted...
This message that someone sent me, I just thought it was like a hilarious message. So I posted it on TikTok with like me reacting to it being like...
Oh, I see. Okay, so basically a guy you're involved with, he messaged you this and then you posted that text on...
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And then so my ex saw it and he just popped up with like, you know, like the skull emoji, like dead.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, so now he knows that I'm getting with other people. Like I can't really beat around the bush about that.
Yeah. How was that for him, like when you talked about it?
I don't know. He didn't really say how he felt about it. You know, maybe he didn't care at all. Maybe he really cared. He didn't really say. Yeah. But either way, yeah, he knows that I am, you know, doing whatever, being single. Yeah. Yeah, but it sounds really bad. Like I'll get with people and I just don't care.
You sound like a guy.
I sound like a guy, don't I? Like
you sound like
I am no better than a man.
now, all of those guys are like, wow, she's just a fuckboy.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have people in your comments being like, she's for the streets.
she's.
I'm not. I just.
No, I think if we're just being real, your heart is somewhere already. Like your heart is somewhere, and you know, but you're still human. Like you still want to have experiences, have fun, etc. So you're doing that, but your heart's you're just closed off emotionally.
I think, I struggle to connect with people emotionally, and it's like when I do, it's like, wow, this is great. Like, love this. But to get to that stage in the first place is like so difficult. Why
is it difficult for you in the first place? Like, do you feel like
it's not that I'm like emotionally closed off or anything. I think I'm in a place where it's like I see what I bring to the table. And I can't see anyone else add into my life. Like the only thing someone else has to offer to me is love, is like human connection, is like that personal. So I think unless they can do that, what's the point of them being in my life? Like, and it's like to get to that point takes a while. Like naturally, it takes time to care about someone. Yeah. I can't force myself to like instantly start caring about someone.
Of course. Yeah. And I guess not that, I guess it's, are you open to someone building that
Yeah.
building that
Yeah.
with you, essentially.
Even with my ex, for example, he said to me like recently, he was like, oh, when we were first getting together, I didn't even think that you were into me. And I was like, I wasn't, to be honest.
Yo, the realness, I love it.
Like,
You're right.
I
thought you were
face.
trash.
I was like,
no.
Like, he's attractive, he's a nice guy, but like, it just took me a while to care about him. And so the second I did start caring about him, apparently it hasn't stopped.
So prior to that,
Yeah.
was it that it just took, like, a guy had to be really attractive for you to be like, oh, like, I want something there?
Not even really attractive, but like, I don't know, I just have to like bond with them. Like, again, it's just like that whole human connection thing of like being able to vibe, being able to be in like comfortable silence with them, like enjoying their company.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I want to take a shift. What's it been like entering this influencer space, being with like other people who are either like guys and girls who are models, who are influencers, you know, confident, charismatic? How's it been like for you entering that space?
I don't know. I think we had a brief conversation about it on Wednesday, didn't we? About how I think a lot of the conversations are like, I feel bad saying it. I don't want people to
be
hate
real,
me.
man. That's how it
I
is.
think a lot of the conversations are based around like, how many followers do you have? How many views do you get? How much money do you get off TikTok Live? And that's the side of it that I kind of hate. I find it quite superficial.
Yeah.
And it's almost like your worth is based off of how much engagement you get.
Well,
And it's like you kind of lose that personal side of things. And it's like when you do meet people, they're the loveliest people ever. I've met so many like genuine lifelong friends through these circles and like through these like influencer events.
Yeah.
But finding those people in the first place can be a bit tricky.
Yeah, of course. What about the guys? What are the guys like in comparison to, you know, I guess what we call normal guys or people not in that space?
I think most of them are normal deep down. I am a lot of the guys, like you, for example, you're so normal.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm everyone says they're an exception. I feel like so I'm an actor primarily, and my background is musical theatre, and so like in my industry, people are very eccentric, very characterful, and I guess for the average person, maybe I am, but even in my own circles, I'm quite chilled in comparison. So I've always found myself in circles that encourage, I would say like almost public facing, or a level of being the center of attention. Right? Like if you're an influencer, you make content, you're center of attention. If you're an actor, you're center of attention. So I've always been quite chilled for those circles. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, it reminds me of what you said to me.
Oh no.
Do you remember what you said to me?
I do. I was dead sober. I had like 3 drinks.
No, I loved it. I loved it. What did you say to me, Ciara? Guys,
what did I say? Let's see if I can remember.
It's the best savage compliment I think I've ever had in my life.
I think I said, you're really nice, you're attractive, but you're overhyped. I was like,
you said I'm overhyped. Overhyped.
People kept
because
coming up to me.
Huh?
People kept coming up to me being like, "Oh my god, have you met Kit? Oh my god, this is Kit."
I didn't even know.
I thought you had like 3 million followers or something. I thought you were like famous. Like,
I'm famous to my mum. God damn it!
And I got talking to you, and you were just like proper normal, and I was like, okay.
I find that so funny. I kind
of thought that you were going to be like a dickhead, to be honest. I
yeah,
thought
most
you were
people
be, like,
do get that impression.
Yeah. And you were just like so chill, so normal. And I was like
one of my good friends who I went to Spain with, he was like, yeah, when I first met you, I thought you were like A1 narcissist. I was like, wow.
I get that a lot.
Or like not met me when he first saw me in an environment. Do I give that impression, guys? Maybe I do. Maybe I'm an A1 narcissist.
I get that a lot. People would come up to me and be like, oh my God, before I met you, I thought you were a bitch. Cheers.
That's so funny. How about like guys approach you in this space? I mean, guys must approach you in this space.
In a little influencer space?
Yeah, like guys are trying to get to know you, take you out, all of this stuff.
No. Yeah, no, I saw someone on Wednesday like offered to take me out. I don't know. I think I'm bad at catching the vibe. Sometimes like, yeah, I don't know. Like I'll be talking to someone. I'm like, oh, they're so nice. And then they'll be like, oh, do you want to go for dinner? And I'm like, what? I think they're just being nice to me, and I realize that they're trying to move to me, and I don't realize.
Yeah. Is there anyone you've seen that you've been like, oh, I kind of like the look of him, or maybe I want to get to know him?
No.
Man, that ex has got that hold voice, that strong hold on her.
I think, it sounds bad. I think there's kind of this expectation within these circles that because they're influencers and stuff, it's almost like a privilege to be with them, and like you're kind of expected. Like if they offer to take you out, you're meant to be like, oh my god, yeah, throw yourself at them.
Would they really think that though? If you're doing the same thing, like if
I don't
you're
think
in the same
they
space?
would think it, but like my mates, for example, would be like, oh my god, this guy offered to take you out and you said no. So I don't think it comes from a place of their own arrogance. I don't think they're arrogant at all.
Yeah.
But like if you want to call them like normal people,
Yeah.
I think like other people would be like, you turned him down, and it's almost like because they're like a minor celebrity, a bit of an influencer, it's like, why don't you want to be with them? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. I guess that kind of makes sense. How much do you think other girls who maybe aren't in that space would be starry-eyed with like the guy's platform and his level of influence per se, and you know, him having a semi-big audience or whatever?
I don't really know about it from like the female perspective, but I've seen it from the male perspective.
Oh, really?
Of, I'm literally going to out someone.
Dude, don't say their name unless you want to.
Should I full legal name drop it?
You can if you want. I will provide the space for you to do that if you want.
A friend of mine got a message the other day off of someone that I went to uni with, saying, oh my God, I've seen that you're mates with Ciara. Help me message her. I don't want to fuck it up because she's kind of famous. Oh. So I've seen like, you know, average university friend guys, whatever, view me in the light of like, oh, she's a bit of an influencer. How do I talk to her?
Yeah.
And it's like, I assume girls would have it the same way with guys, that like, if a girl wanted to approach like an influencer guy, she'd be like, oh, how do I move to him? How do I do it? Like expecting them to be any different to a normal person. Yeah. And it's like, just talk to me. Just slide into my DMs. Like, it ain't that deep.
Yeah, of course. I guess guys probably feel... I think guys feel like, oh, well, if you're on like on a level, they're like, well, I can't. He probably assumes you're looking at guys at least on your level or like above.
I love it when a guy has like 300 followers, private account, no post of his face.
No post of his face. You're like, give me the ring now. Why do you like that? Have you always like that, or is it only since you've entered this space and you know what this space is like? I think since I've entered
the space.
Everyone says this, you know.
Yeah. Obviously, I do it myself, so I can't really chat. Like, it's a bit of a double standard, isn't it?
I mean, you know, there are double standards in dating. So.
I think I'm quite honest about the fact that, like, I don't feel like my Instagram is the correct perception of me. I view it kind of as a brand.
Yes.
My Instagram, like, isn't very authentic. I try to be authentic in the sense of, like, putting forward my views on my disability and stuff like that, and like I try and keep it quite raw.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, everything's these perfect post photos, and you know, I have like a private account with like 20 followers where it's just like my closest mates, and like that's more proper.
Yeah.
So I think if I were to see a guy with that sort of online persona as well, I kind of view it as like, oh, a bit fake.
But do you not apply the same standard that, oh, he's just treating it as a brand and that's not the real
I would
thing?
hope so. But I think sometimes it's not the case. Sometimes it's hard to tell.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
Also, I think I would get jealous as well. This is, again, massive double standard, because at the end of the day, I do have guys commenting on my photos. I do have guys in my DMs, etc. because of I'm posting bikini photos 24/7. Like, what do I expect? But if I was with like a really attractive guy who had like loads of followers and it was all girls on his comments, all girls in his DMs, I'd be barking at them.
I mean,
growling.
I get that, but like, so two things.
Yeah.
How seriously do you take the male admirers you have?
I don't.
Do you think he would as well?
I'd hope not, but...
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the second thing is, honestly, for the amount of male attention you get online, a guy would probably have to get the equivalent.
Yeah.
And when I say the equivalent, I don't mean like, well, I would say like a girl liking his photo, but especially either girls commenting on it or like DMing him, he would have to have at least 10 times the amount of followers to get the same amount of attention. Yeah. So if you like, for example, for every 10,000 followers you have, if you got like 5 DMs a week, for him to get 5 DMs a week, he'd have to have, honestly, like at least 100. Like if he's gonna get 5 DMs from women who are like, I'm actively pursuing this man, he'd have to have at least that much.
I think it does take a lot more for a woman to like bother reaching out first. To bother like DMing a guy first, it's like a lot rarer.
I agree. Because most people
saying that, I see some like male influencers and their comments are feral. It's like loads of girls, yeah.
Yeah, no, it can happen. It can happen. But I think for anyone, especially for him to take seriously, yeah, it's just, it takes a lot more for a woman to approach.
Yeah.
Would you approach a guy that you wanted, that you like the look of?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
I think I'm quite ballsy in that sense. Links back to earlier, I was like, I'm no different to a guy.
Yeah, no, I get that. No, I think that's great. So like, what was it about him that made you approach him?
I feel like I'm not shy to approaching people, but like it has to have kind of like the mutual thing of like, we've followed each other, we might have matched on an app, we've liked each other's photos. Like, I have to capture the vibe first. I wouldn't just like out of nowhere DM someone.
Okay.
Like,
I see.
I want it to be validated that I won't be rejected first. I need to
But how
make
do you
sure
know if you'll be rejected without
if I get a
taking
few
the
little
chance?
cheeky story likes, then I know that I can move to him. Liking your story is slutty behavior.
That is true. There is this whole subculture of flirting on social media, isn't it?
Yeah, so if someone starts liking my selfies on my story, I know that I can DM him.
If you're loving this episode and these kinds of conversations, then I want to give you something. We recently launched the Kits Angels community. This is a sisterhood for women who are tired of what the dating scene has given them and are ready to take their love lives to the next level. It's a space for you as a woman to not be alone in your journey to love, where we learn, talk, and share our experiences as part of a strong sisterhood, with some leadership and guidance from yours truly, of course. Not to mention never before seen videos from me on how I've led dozens of women to meeting great men. And so as a thank you for watching this episode, I'm giving you a month's membership completely complimentary on me. Just click the Kits Angels link below, and when you join the group, message me the code phrase Angels Podcast and I will pay for your membership. Now back to the episode.
What if he just likes...
What if she likes it willy-nilly?
Does it depend on what the story is? So like, okay, if you have
even if it's a meme and he likes it, I might say he thinks I'm funny.
He doesn't think the meme's funny. He thinks I'm funny.
I am hilarious,
I'm
obviously.
fucking hilarious. What if... but surely you would see a difference, like if you posted like a bikini shot and then you like diving.
Yeah.
It's very different if he likes that one and likes this one, no? Or do you see it as the same?
I think I would prefer if he liked something from work rather than a bikini pic. If someone was liking my stories and they were paying attention to like, oh, that's a cool job, she's diving, I would prefer that to him liking my bikini pics.
True.
Because liking the bikini pics is like,
obviously,
I'm the one putting it out there, but it's still like mild objectification. I'm kind of asking for it, but at the same time, like, you know,
but then
at least pretend to be interested in my life.
I hear that. But then isn't it more likely that he's just liking the story because he thinks it's cool if it is the diving one, not because he's like, oh, I'm into
the thing is though, like, I'm gonna take it personally and think that he thinks I'm cool.
Like, I mean, that's true. Actually, that's actually true. I guess it's him admiring a different side to you. It's like, oh, there's this side to her. She's really cool, as opposed to, oh, I just think she's hot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What would it take? What would it take for you to approach a guy, like if you're out and about, like at a bar or like you're out with some friends and stuff?
Maybe like 2 shots.
Hey, she's honest.
I approach anyone. Honest. I went through a phase at uni where I just walk up to people and be like, you're fit. And that was it. And I'd get with them. Really? Like, I was overly confident when I was like 19, 20.
What gave... I feel like most people, guys as well, don't have that level of confidence. What gave you that level of confidence?
I think after I realised it works, sorted. Like, I think guys don't expect it from a girl.
We don't.
Like, guys never get approached first by a girl. So when a girl bothers approaching first, they're so like, oh my God.
They're even more off guard.
Yeah. Catch them off guard and you pulled.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Let me ask you something. Okay, so we talked about being on social media and about how obviously, you post these bikini pics and stuff and, it's part of the game, so to speak. Would you give up your social media for a relationship?
No.
No?
It's my income. Money's more important.
Is it your main income?
No, but it's still like a good little...
Because it invites this level of attention from guys. Yeah. So... like you understand why you wouldn't choose a guy who does that, right? Yeah. So you wouldn't compromise on that.
No, I think I wouldn't bother getting to know someone in the first place if they weren't okay with it. The second someone meets me, they meet my Instagram as well. So it's like they should be okay with it from the get-go. On the premise that they're okay with it at first and then they change their mind. That's their problem.
I get that, but there are definitely things that we compromise or even sacrifice for a relationship though. So like, for example, if you meet a guy and he's sleeping with 3 different women and he gets to a relationship with you, you expect to be like, well, when you met me, babe, I was sleeping with multiple women. Like, why would you think that would change because we're together? Do you see what I'm saying? So there are certain compromises that we give up for.
That's a bit different though, because like, say if you meet someone and you're sleeping with other people and then you make that decision to make a commitment to them, like that's kind of just how a relationship works. Unless you're like in an open relationship, you're poly or whatever.
Yeah.
That is the given standard that you're expected to be exclusive, settle down. Like,
well, what I would say is that while that is definitely the norm, it's not like, if a guy could be like, okay, I'm taking you seriously, but he's having physical things elsewhere, right? Because that's what he does.
Well,
because obviously, like if he was like a porn star, like you see what I'm saying?
Let's say he's really set on doing that. He can have that discussion with me, for example, with said girl. Be like, hey, would you be okay with this? And if the girl goes, no, I wouldn't be okay with this, she can leave.
100%.
That's our open conversation that you two can have on the circumstances.
Yeah.
And if the open conversation is him being like, you should delete your Instagram, and I go, no,
well, not
I guess
delete
it's the end
it,
of the relationship.
Well, not delete it. I guess it would be like, it would be like the influencer side.
Yeah.
To be fair, like if yours, I think your photos they're all very professional because like you said, if it's like swimsuit and stuff, it's not like, I mean, do you have OnlyFans?
No.
Okay, so it's not like you're posting ass pics to
exactly.
direct people to your OnlyFans. What do you think? What do you think women sacrifice to be in a relationship with the man that they want?
I don't know. I feel like I personally wouldn't sacrifice much. Anything, even.
You wouldn't sacrifice anything?
Don't know. I can't see myself changing. I can't feel like there's anything in my life which is negative enough to get rid of for someone else. You know, like,
it's not necessarily whether it's negative, but I think when you enter a relationship, there's an element of what is appropriate. And there's an element of, because when you enter a relationship, you both have responsibility to protect the relationship.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And of course, each couple discusses like, it's individual per couple, like what's right for you, what boundaries you have, because like some people might be open, some people might be very much, you know, maybe very, very traditional and conventional in that sense. But I do think for a relationship to work, you both have to be willing to compromise on things to protect the relationship.
Yeah.
But do you feel like you'd be like, nah, like you have to accept everything I'm doing straight away?
I guess it depends on the things. Say if the guy was like, oh, I don't feel comfortable with you posting bikini pics.
Sure.
It's like, well, I'm competing in a swimsuit in a minute. Like, I can't change that. That's the thing where it's like, I can't sacrifice it. Whereas if it was like, oh, this random beach photo that you posted in bikini. Actually, even then, it's like, I'm a scuba diver. I work in a bikini.
I think
that's kind of just my life, unfortunately. Like, that's something that I can't sacrifice for someone.
Yeah, I hear that.
A while ago, who was it? It was like Seth Rogen or someone like that. His girlfriend at the time was like a professional surfer. And he made a big public fuss being like, oh my God, she's posting these photos of her in a wetsuit, but like one of those little like swimsuit wetsuits, being like, oh, I can't respect her if she's posting this online for 1,000 followers of her in a swimsuit. And everyone was like, it's her job. It's her career. You knew that before you got with her.
As a surfer, they wear...
It wasn't like a full wetsuit. It was like a swimsuit wetsuit.
Yeah, but don't they wear like a full...
No, it was like legs out, bum out. But everyone in the comments was like, what do you expect? It's her job. You shouldn't have got with a surfer if you don't want her to be in a swimsuit.
I thought he was saying... I thought he was kicking up a fuss because she was posting like bikini shots with other guys. And he was like, I just feel that's disrespectful to our relationship.
From what I remember, it was pretty much just like her at work as a surfer wearing swimwear. And he was like, slut, posting swimwear pics. And everyone was like, that's her job. What do you expect? And I feel like I'm in a similar position of like, you knew it before you got with me.
I do hear that. And I do agree with you, but I think there's a difference because your shots, at least they're professional, right? Yeah. So it's different because because like you're a model, right? Yeah. So if somebody was like a lingerie model and they're professional, I think that's very different than like somebody posting like an arse pic, selfie. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying?
It's different, yeah.
There's quite a big difference. So I think the level of professionalism, I think, makes a difference between how much of it is the professional work,
Yeah.
right? That, yeah, sure, it may come with some level of objectification and because sex sells.
Yeah.
And how much of it is just purely selling the sex aspect. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like, are you coming from it from a point of view of like, this is my career?
Yes.
It's like, if you don't want someone posting lingerie pics, don't date a lingerie model.
Very
That's
true.
kind of
100%.
like-
Yeah, duh.
Or if someone's just posting a mirror selfie of their ass, it's a bit different because like that is provocative. That is,
Yes, exactly.
you're wanting people to pop up to your story. Like it's different.
You want people to like that story. It's like a story. Has there ever been something you've asked a guy to make a compromise on that you've had pushback?
No.
No? Is it because you accept everything they do, or is it because they do everything you tell them?
I feel like I wouldn't get with someone where I needed to change them in the first place. I'd want them to bring things to the table that I'm already comfortable with. I wouldn't date a porn star. I wouldn't like, you know, I wouldn't have to ask someone to change because I wouldn't be serious with them in the first place if I felt they needed to change.
I get that. I think I want to differentiate between making them change, because I do agree you shouldn't get with someone to try and change them. But I think it's like, what effort do we now start making for the relationship? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So because it's like, so for example, like there's this meme with guys when it's, you know, there's like two photos when a guy has a girlfriend, his wallet is empty. When he doesn't have a girlfriend, it's full with loads of notes, right? So like the change would be, okay, he's going to be going out more because he knows she likes to be, let's say, taken out, for example. That's how she likes to dress up, whatever. And so is that him changing because he wouldn't usually do that? Or is that him making an effort for the relationship?
That's him making an effort to go on dates and do things. But like, again, like I'm okay with splitting the bill. I'm okay with chilling on the sofa. Even stuff like that.
Every
like,
time though?
Yeah. To be honest.
Like even from like the first
it links back to the earlier conversation of me saying like, the only thing that I'm looking for in a relationship is love. Like, I know what I bring to the table. I know that I have a job. I know that I have financial independence. I know that I have a good relationship with my friends and family. Like, I don't need anything from a man in that sense. If I wanted to go out for dinner and his wallet's empty and mine isn't, I'll pay for the dinner. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm the one who wanted it. I've got a story.
Okay. Answer that question and tell us the story.
But, you know, what was I saying? You know, like, I know what I bring to the table. I know that I'm not really needing anything from a man.
Sure.
So
I get that. You know what? I think that's great, of course. And I think it's absolutely great that obviously a woman doesn't need a man.
Yeah.
It does sound like a badge of honor though, a lot of the time. It's like, as in, oh, I don't need a man. It sounds like I'm a woman that I don't need. It's like a badge of honor.
Yeah, no, there's that whole thing of like, oh, strong, independent woman, which a lot of people like pride themselves on nowadays.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily like that. Like, I would like a man. Of
course.
Because, you know, everyone loves a Netflix cuddle.
Yeah.
Everyone loves chilling on the sofa under the
100%.
blanket. Everyone loves a little picnic.
Yeah, you got to watch the crime documentary with someone.
Yeah, exactly. Like, everyone loves it. But, you know, I'm not like desperately craving it. I feel like I don't need a man to support me. I don't want someone to take me out every week. Like, I actually like being in company. I like chilling with people. I like having someone to chat to. You know, I like the human side of things.
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't feel like some man needs to make some big financial commitment for me. I can do that for myself.
I get that. And I agree with that because that's, like you said, like we talked earlier, that's about looking for the right values.
Yeah.
But I guess the question is, how do you know when a guy's making a serious investment in you and then a casual investment? And I'm not talking investment like literal financial, but like, for example, I think it's a very different level of investment if a guy's like, for example, and this doesn't cost anything, he's like, hey, I'm going to pick you up and we're going to go and have a picnic in Epping Forest, right? Versus a guy being like, why don't you come over so we can watch a film? I think that's two levels of different investment.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how would you differentiate between, because it sounds like you're like, oh, well, because in both scenarios, you could get the love and affection, quote unquote. But then one could be more, he's actually seeing you for who you are. And the other one could be more, he's trying to.
I think you can tell when someone cares about you. Like,
do you think? Because I think a lot of girls struggle, you know? They're like, I feel like you care about me.
I've learned it the hard way. Like, I've had some shitty exes. Maybe I've learned it the hard way of realizing like, oh, I just got love bombed and ghosted. But like, now I've gotten to a point where it's like, you can tell when someone's checking in on you, checking in on your well-being, checking in on how you're feeling, morning, good night. oh, do you want to meet up and go for a walk, go have a
do
picnic,
something.
like go do something nice, like, or if they like pay attention to the small details of what you're actually into and like plan a gift, plan a date around something that you've actually like mentioned in passing rather than just like, do you want to come chill? Like you can tell when someone's actually like giving you energy.
Yeah.
Because like they're making the effort of like noticing the small things and like checking in and things. And,
Yeah, 100%. It's the most, you know, I always say this, it's the effort he makes outside of the sexual stuff is where you recognize whether he's actually genuine or not.
Yeah.
For sure. Talk to me about paying on the first date.
Wow. I feel like I need to preface this with, I have no issue with splitting bill.
Sure.
I will offer every time to split bill. My first date with my ex. I called him out on this recently. I was like, I cannot believe you did that. So he's going to kill me for mentioning this.
Yeah.
But our first date, we went out for drinks in Stratford. It was like a week after my surgery. So it was like my first time going out in like a long old time. Also, the whole time I was ill, I was sober. So it was my first time having drinks for a long old time.
Okay.
And, you know, I was enjoying it. Got some cocktails. I then went to the toilet. I got back and he was like, oh, I just got the bill. And I was like, oh, that's nice. He got it while I was in toilet, so I couldn't even like dispute it. Because like if I was there at the table when he got the bill, I would have been like, oh, we can split if you want, you know. But he got it while I was in toilet. Didn't think anything of it, just thought it was nice. A few days later, he texts me and he's like, do you mind sending me money for drinks, please? And I was like, are you kidding me? I nearly ghosted him just on the pure principle of I can't believe he did that.
So why? Tell me why you were like, what the fuck? I don't disagree with you, but I think it's important to explore that reason.
I just think like if you're gonna get me to split the bill, do it for your chest. Do it from the get-go. Like,
say it to my face.
Yeah, like I would have been fine with it. It's the cheek of messaging me a few days after to be like, by the way.
Is there an aspect of it that you thought it was a gesture from him?
Yeah.
And then him asking to split, it was like, oh, this wasn't a gesture.
Yeah, it
like,
wasn't.
You
what I
have
thought
no
it was.
problem splitting it, but you're like, oh, I thought it was a gesture from you, and it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. I thought he was being nice. He wasn't being nice.
He was just being quick. He was like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Let me get this. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Have you ever paid for a guy on a first date before?
On a first date, I don't think I have. On like later dates, I have.
Yeah.
Like I've been in relationships before and been like, oh, I really fancy a Wagamama's. I'll go get us one.
Yeah, of course. I think that's pretty standard.
I'd cover it. Yeah. But on a first date, I don't think so.
Would you pay for a guy on the first date?
I guess I would.
I
think it depends on like the premise of the date. Like if I had said, oh, I would love to go to this place, let's go here specifically.
Sure.
And like if I kind of set up the date and like made it as though I was taking him out, then I'd be okay with paying for it. But if he suggests like, oh, I want to take you out, let's go to a restaurant, I ain't paying for that. You asked to take me out.
I get that. And I agree.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a convenient position to take because obviously we know 9 times out of 10, the first day at least, it's the guy making the plan and asking and stuff.
See, I don't know if it's just because like broke uni life. Like I only graduated like a year ago.
Of course.
But I'm so used to like, you know, like students have no money. You know, we're living off our student loan and vibes.
100%. Student loan and vibes. That needs to be on a t-shirt. I'm living off student loan and vibes. Yes.
I'm so used to like a first date would be like, oh, let's go grab food from the market and sit on the grass, like pay for ourselves. Like I feel like I don't really have that expectation of like we have to go for a really nice dinner where you pay for everything and I order what I want. That's never really been a thing in recent years.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Have you had more of those offers since you graduated?
I've had those offers here and there, even while I was at uni. Like it happens every now and then, but it's not really the done thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think, you know, I'm a bit older than you. I'm 30. So I hear a lot of women saying that that's what they would like. They like that. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Everyone's different. But I think it's interesting because I think for guys and girls, I think dating changes when you enter the real world compared to when you're still at school or still at uni and stuff like that, because you're constantly exposed to all these different people and circles, and then you get into the real world. And to be fair, you could date someone from the real world while you're at uni anyway, but you could, you know, go out with this 28-year-old and then this 40-year-old and then this 21-year-old. Do you know what I mean? Have you found any changes in your experience kind of between uni and then coming out?
I've always been prone to dating guys a little bit older, not like way older, but like maybe like the 28-year-olds. So I feel like even while I was at uni, I would go on dates with people who like, they were from, I went to uni in Norwich, like they were from Norwich, but they weren't at uni. So I feel like my dating life hasn't actually changed too much in that
Makes
sense.
Yeah.
Maybe the students are more likely to be like, oh, let's just go to the pub. Whereas the people who don't go to uni are more likely to be like, let's go for a dinner. But nothing's changed too much, to be honest.
What is it about, the older guy that you've always been kind of more drawn to?
On the superficial side of things, I think it's just they don't look like a kid. Sometimes.
Makes sense.
Sometimes boys who are like 22, 23, like...
Still look like boys.
They still look like boys.
I get
It is
that.
purely just that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Personality-wise, they all act like boys still. Like, doesn't matter if you're 35, you still act like a 14-year-old.
How so? Is it more just like avoiding emotional
I think
stuff?
men just like never mature, do they? Like,
Well, maybe I can try and change that. What do you mean, Ciara? Tell us. What do you mean?
I don't know. Just silly boys, aren't they? Like,
Is it more on the like emotional side of things? Is it the more
Yeah.
on the responsibility side? Like what are you talking about?
all of it. I've dated some guys who are like 28 and they still live in their mum's garden and play five-a-side and like,
Ain't nothing wrong with five-a-side, fellas. You don't let us shame.
It's nice that you have a little hobby, but why does your whole life revolve around it? Grow up. Like,
Okay.
so everyone deserves a hobby. Everyone deserves a little community. Like, glad you get on with your football team, but
So is it more that he's, at least in that example,
Yeah.
he's not on it doesn't seem like he's on a path going somewhere.
yeah. I've
hear
dated
that.
some people who are in their late 20s and I just feel like you're such a bum. Like, you're nearly 30 years old, you're a full-grown adult and you're doing nothing. And like, that's unattractive. That's so unattractive.
I get that. Why is that important to you?
I think whether you're 22 or 32, you should have some aspiration. Like, no matter what that is, whether you want to go traveling, whether you want to move to London, whether you want to live like the hustle culture or just like chill out.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you know what you want with your life and you're aiming to do that,
Yeah.
I'm happy. And like, I
Even
think,
if he provides you the love that you said that's what you're looking for?
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, no, I'd still like for someone to love their own life as well, I guess.
He can
Yeah.
love his own life.
I
but
think
he may just
self-love
not.
is like super important. And I don't see you having self-love if you're willing to live and die in your hometown and, not go anywhere and not have aspirations. And is that harsh? Is that mean?
I don't think that's a fair statement because it just depends on what's important to that person.
Yeah.
So because some people can really value, for example, their community and they don't care about, I don't know, becoming the next Insta model or, becoming the next like big TikToker or the next big YouTuber or the next football player, whatever. Maybe their value or what they value is more about being there for their community. And that is a very simple life in which
What if
a lot
their
of people are
values
happy with
are
it.
sitting in their mum's house gaming and getting their dinner made for them and doing nothing actually and not acting like an adult?
I mean, I agree with you in a sense that I would not encourage that lifestyle. But the reason I'm asking you is because I know you said about, for you, what's important for you is about, can someone provide the love that you would be looking for? But whether somebody is on a big ambitious mission to become the next inventor, or whether what they really care about is spending time with their family and friends and they're not aspiring for greatness, you're like, that sounds really important to you. And that's outside of the love.
Yeah.
So you're not just looking for love then. Like, it's not just the love aspect that you want to come to your life. Like, there's another aspect too, which is normal, but I think
if someone, you're talking about like family values and stuff. I think if someone like values their community, values their friends and family and like loves that part of their life and doesn't see themselves moving away from that, fair play, that's their values. But like, I think it's good to differentiate like what is them having good family values and what is them being scared to step out of that. I'm not saying they have to like go on and be famous and do amazing big things, but at what point do they create their own life?
I hear that. So would you be open if you met a guy and let's say he is very much has a standard 9-to-5 job, he is living at home and he spends half of his time with his friends online or seeing them, but he's met you have this level of connection and stuff, and he's willing to build a life with you, and that's not him aspiring for more in his own life, but he's like, he's willing to build a new life with you. Would you be open to that with that guy, even though he's not aspiring for more? Because essentially you're aspiring for more, aren't you? So essentially you would be doing that in the relationship as opposed to him doing it. So would you be open to that?
I don't know. Is he doing it just because he's being complacent with whatever I want to do, or is he doing it because he genuinely wants to?
Is he doing what?
Like growing with me, for example. Like say if I'm like, I want to go traveling, is he going to tag along like a little pet? Because if that's not what he wants to do, I'm not going to be like, you have to do it because I'm doing
let's
it.
say he'd be like, yeah, I'm happy to go traveling with you.
Does he genuinely want to do it? Yeah, come with.
Yeah, I mean, because he's building a life with you.
Yeah.
So like he would be making an effort in those areas because he cares about you and he's like sees the future.
Fair play, come with.
Would you pay for him if you could?
If I could, yeah. Currently I cannot.
Yeah.
Theoretically, if I was like balling,
yeah.
Why not?
Okay. Would you be? I know this probably isn't the dynamic, but I'm just playing devil's advocate. Would you be happy if a guy provided that love that you said that you want to invite in your life because you can take care of yourself? Would you be happy to be the provider in the relationship, like long term?
If I was in a financial position to do so, yeah.
Okay.
I'd have a stay-at-home husband.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
So he's cooking and cleaning for you.
I love it.
We love that.
Yeah.
Listen, I feel like I've grilled you. Let me give you the floor one last time. Is there anything you'd want to ask or talk about?
I don't know. Like what?
Is there anything?
Give me some prompts.
Is there? What's one thing? What's one thing you would ask guys today about when they date women? What's one thing you would ask them? Like, is there something that you've seen guys do in general that you're like, what the fuck is this?
Why do I have commitment issues?
That's a very good question.
I don't know. I think that's the only thing that every guy seems to have in common in like modern dating. Is they're like, oh yeah, we can go on dates and message every day and say good night and good morning and exclusively sleep with each other. But I don't want a relationship.
Yeah. What? So
you want everything of a relationship, but you don't want a relationship.
Yeah. So essentially, I think what that usually means is they don't want to close themselves off from other potentially experiences with other women. Usually. Most guys actually would like someone, but I very much suspect, especially, because you're like saying about what you were choosing before, it's only a very small percentage of guys that actually get quite a lot of attention from women that women find attractive. And so it's those guys, because there's kind of a level of abundance they have, unless they're looking to settle down seriously, there's no real incentive for them to want to commit a lot of the time, or that's how they see it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Now, there are always exceptions because, sometimes they might meet someone and they just go, oh, wow, like I actually just want to give all my time to this person and I'm not really interested in anyone else physically even. Because we know guys can separate emotions from sex a lot easier.
I think that's always seen as like a guy thing. Is that not like a universal trait?
Oh, I'm not saying women can't do it, but I think it's way more common in men than in women. Like it's not that women can't do it, but it's way more apparent. It's way more of it's a very masculine way to approach sex. To approach it in a way where there's no emotions, there's no level of intimacy, it's just a physical act. And that's not to saying that women can't do it, because some women do, and this is my anecdotal experience from my own experience, friends' experiences, where a lot of the time when a woman is having regular sex with a guy, even if they both say it's casual, at some point she will grow feelings for him.
Does
9
the
times
guy
out of 10.
not? I feel like I've had guys catch feelings.
Yeah, and they might for sure, but guys don't develop feelings through sex. It's through other things that happens. So like, for example, like if you are checking up on him because he's had a difficult time, or if, for example, maybe you are coming over, but maybe you bring food. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, this is somebody who is she actually cares about me. And this is someone who you're looking out for him in maybe spaces that he could be vulnerable in. And generally that's what makes a guy goes, wow, like she's amazing. It's not having amazing sex most times. But I think for women, a lot of the time, and sex generally does affect men and women differently in terms of, climaxing, orgasming and stuff. Like, oxytocin is more potent in women through orgasm than it is for men. And oxytocin is the bonding hormone. So Whereas guys release oxytocin through other things, like I said, like when she's there for him when he's vulnerable, and that makes him really bond to her in that sense. Or if he shares something very personal to him and she accepts that and receives that really well. So I think that's why, because the same thing is like, the equivalent is like a guy being really close friends with you and developing feelings for you. And he's like, why haven't you developed feelings for me?
Yeah.
Because he's
That's
like, we're spending all this time together. Yeah. We're being so personal. You know my secrets. I know yours.
Yeah.
When you're having a down day, I'm there for you. When I'm having a down day, you're there for me. Why don't you grow feelings for me?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
That's why I hate when guy best friends and catch feelings. Because it makes me second guess the entire friendship. Being like, oh, were you just trying to move to me the whole time? I thought the friendship mattered.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the equivalent though. But you can understand... Is it really that surprising? Like the more time a guy spends with you, that he grows feelings for you? Is that surprising?
Yeah, to be honest.
Really?
I don't know if I'm just like ignorant to the fact that like people can develop feelings. But like, yeah, if something's like entirely platonic, like I've had some like platonic friendships for years, and then suddenly it just takes this like U-turn and they catch like romantic feelings, and I'm like, nah. Like you've just ruined the whole friendship.
I mean, yeah, it does change the dynamic for sure. But isn't that, you know how we were saying how you were like, oh, at least we were talking about which stories to like. And you're like, oh, at least pretend that you care about who I am.
Yeah.
The reason a guy falls for you if he's your friend is because he falls for who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Isn't that surely better than he's just like, oh, I really want you because I just think you're really hot? Isn't that better?
Yeah, I suppose like... Everyone always says, don't they, like the basis of a good relationship is to be friends first.
Very true.
But at the same time, I feel like it kind of invalidates all of the friendship before that.
Why do you think it?
Did you have this ulterior motive the whole time? Like, were you not actually trying to be my friend? Were you just trying to play the long game? And that's kind of stinky, kind of hurts to think that might be the case.
So, okay, so if we flip it, the equivalent would be a guy who gets into a casual situationship with a girl and they both say it's just casual. And then let's say they've been sleeping with each other for 6-7 months and then she gets feelings.
But that's a situationship that has the basis of sex. I'm talking about like pure platonic nothingness. Yeah,
but what do you think is more valuable and important? The friendship or just sex?
Friendship.
So like, doesn't it make sense for something to grow from a friendship than just sex?
Yeah, I think like in the ideal world, it would be nice to fall in love with your friend, get married, yay. But if you're not mutually catching feelings and then it ruins the entire 4-year-long relationship that you just had.
I don't think it... I would disagree. I wouldn't say it ruins it, but it does change the dynamic because they might have grown feelings in like the past 6 months because they just think you're amazing. Do you know what I mean?
What can I say?
But maybe, you know, if you're not attracted to them, and if I'm being honest, I think ultimately that's actually what it is.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of the time when guys are in the friend zone with girls and girls friend zone a guy, it's because she likes who he is, but she's just not attracted to him. That's just basically what it is. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to end it there. Yeah. I'm going to end it there. But Ciara, we appreciate you. So thank you for coming on. If people want to find you and follow your journey, where can they find you?
My Instagram is @Sivie. I suppose you'll tag that, but it's SIGHVIE.
Nice.
It's the same on TikTok, but I'm not active on Instagram, to be honest. My TikTok's kind of not serious.
The TikTok's not serious. Okay. So mainly Instagram.
Instagram is the one.
All right, we hear that. Well, we appreciate you guys. Go show Ciara some love. Give her a follow. Give her a like. And definitely check out her story. Like I watched that, I think a couple of days ago on your Instagram. And yeah, your journey's been a great one. And for her to get to this point where you're kind of just living life all with a smile and being confident and stuff when you kind of had the near-death experience and it kind of changed a lot of things. For sure, it can be inspiring for people. So we appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. Guys, thank you for tuning in and I will see you in the next episode.